Welcome everybody to this new episode of Gamify Talks. Today's episode is special, where I'm hosting one of the best brand managers that I've been working with. I'm hosting Cecilia Pingel, the brand manager of Cat Footwear in Chile. Cecilia has been working in brand management for retail and fashion for a long time now, and I'm really excited to be hearing her thoughts on different aspects. So let's see what she has to say. All right. Well, hi, Ceci. Welcome
Hi,
to
Oz.
this episode of Gamify Talks. I really appreciate having you.
Hi, Oz. How are you doing? Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, for sure. So, Ceci, I would love to have a quick introduction from you about yourself and what you've been doing. I know you're doing a lot of things leading a brand in the e-commerce and the retail space. So, if you could, give us a quick introduction.
Well, basically, what I do as a brand manager is lead the brand from the big strategy into the everyday tactics, from the business plan to making the plan into action in the everyday, from the marketing to product development, product line architecture, buys, and all the points of contact with our consumer, the digital business as well as the brick and mortar and wholesales.
Nice. And you've been doing this for how long?
Um, well, I've been with the company for more than 10 years and in the retail business for more than 12, but leading brand a little more than 4 years now.
Nice, awesome. And what would you say? What does it take to lead a successful brand, or be successful at leading a brand and growing it?
Well, that answer may be different for everyone, but for me, mm, the first thing may sound obvious, but obviously, a great team. You need to have a
Hmm.
great team to lead any business, any successful business. It's not about only the um, technical side of of the knowledge of people, but it's more about the passion, the attitude, and the drive to make the difference and to love what you do and wake up every day with ideas and willingness to achieve the goals. So that would be my like basic. And
Hmm.
then if you talk about brands, for me the brand purpose is a must. You need to be very clear on your brand purpose, what your
Hmm.
that's what justifies the existence of your brand, and it's the promise you give to your consumer, and it's the thing that leads everything you do, every decision you take, from product to marketing to consumer experience. You need to be very consistent with your brand purpose and be able to communicate it as well. It's not only hide it for yourself, like make it alive for the consumer. The other thing that I think is like a must today is consumer centric. It sounds cliche, but it's today you cannot lead a business without thinking of your consumer as the center of the things you do, not only for product but also for channel distribution, segmentation, and for building the consumer experiences. And it's not only okay I have this consumer target, it's understanding your segments, all that comes from data, from the information you get to the actions you take. I think that's a great one of the greatest challenges for brands right now. In fact, our logo says consumer fanatic, and that's something that it's not only a statement, it's something we do every day.
So, team, a brand purpose, and being consumer centric, you would say are the top three, let's say, things, or um, you know, let's say things to look at or have
Yeah.
for you as a base to lead a brand and make it successful.
And I would add a fourth one, which is thinking outside the box. We wake
Hmm.
up every day thinking maybe, okay, not only what we are doing or what we're doing well, but what are we not doing that we should be doing, and turning ideas into action you need to have ideas, and that's great. But if it's only an idea, it's just a wish. It's a desire. It's not something that adds value. So the ability to turn ideas into quick action, flexibility, are, I think, very important. And today, with being so digital, is more important than ever.
Absolutely, it's more important than ever. So speaking of ideas and having to be creative and thinking outside the box, what do you say are the like we hear a lot of about a lot of trends, but what would you say are some of the main real trends out there driving the industry?
Well, trends, there are a lot, and they change
Mm.
constantly. And you enter a trend portal, and they shoot you with a lot of things. For me, the most important is to know which are the right trends for your market, for your consumer, for your business, and for your brand. So to be able to depurate all that, and let's say, okay, these are the trends I'm gonna follow and I'm gonna believe in and take action into. And I'm going to just mention some of them, the things that I think are key to maybe any industry right now. The first one is this Unichannel view, some call it. It's like the evolution of the Omni-channel business into something that is more like a unified view of the brand and of the whole business you drive. It's more centered, consumer centered, so it's more focused on following the consumer journey and being with them, and being able to connect with them however they want and wherever they want. It's not just about, okay, I have my brick and mortar consumer and my digital consumer and this wholesale strategy. Is more about the consumer and how they go throughout the journey with the brand. And I think that triggers a lot of things. It triggers the way you build technology, the way you see all the uni data, uni marketing, uni logistics, uni ways of things.
So Ceci, just to for understanding of everybody, uni versus omni, how would you define uni versus omni?
Omni is like having different channels and they connect, but they don't really build like a journey for the consumer. You have a strategy for your brick and mortar, and then you have your digital business, and maybe you buy digital and go to the store, but
So many different channels, but scattered, like scattered
yeah,
different
yeah,
channels.
they
Okay.
connect, but they are not really one. And the way, if you talk about omni-channel, is more about channels. For me, it's like an omni view of things, an all-channel kind of vision, where the consumer is the center, regardless of the channel. Sounds abstract, but really it connects a lot of things. It connects with the blurring the lines between online and offline, and that triggers other trends, like, for example, the live social commerce, or trends like the metaverse that we will talk about right now. So it's more than just having strategies for every channel and making them connect. It's more about having one big strategy for your consumer, and then being able to reach to them through the different channels.
This is very interesting to me. Like, I hear everybody talking about the omni-channel. Yes, I've heard Unichannel a few times, but it's really interesting now, that you brought it up, to keep an eye on it and track it. So yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
some call it a hybrid business model. I don't like the word hybrid a lot, but it's more like a one view of the business. Like the whole
Sure,
ecosystem, and that leads
absolutely.
you to thinking of not a funnel of conversion. It's just a lot of different ways of converting and of connecting and disconnecting with your consumer. And I think that will change everything today, thinking about like an unilateral way of of reaching to your consumer is like old dated. So it redefines a little bit like a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So after, Unichannel, what would you say is like the second, biggest trend or the second trend that you would like to highlight?
Well, for me, especially for my industry, maybe is the what some call retailtainment. It's like mixing the retail with new experiences for the consumer. It's no longer only about selling product. Of course, product is important, but it's more about all the experience that comes with that, whether it's online or offline. For example, live social commerce may be a way of doing retail timing for your consumer, the different online experiences as we have with you, and all the different things that you may think, okay, what's a shoe brand doing this? But it's part of engaging with the consumer in different ways that add value and add to the brand purpose and add to the experience that is related with not just buying a pair of shoes or apparel, but to be part of what we like to call a cult more than just a brand.
Nice. Retailtainment. That's a very nice term that, I loved it. I actually love it.
Nice.
I will probably use it myself as well.
Okay. Yeah.
uh, yeah. So what are I see you doing a lot of things. You're doing cat records as well, like
Yeah.
some sort of episodes and things like that. So if you
Yes.
can give us some
Yeah.
example.
We've been doing this without putting it a name for some time now, or mostly for the big part of our business life. We have the cat editions, which is
Uh-huh.
different experiences with our consumers that can be a concert, a live concert, or we do cat editions art, which is art interventions to our products with our artists. We do a cat editions rec, which is a podcast with music from Chilean artists, and
Nice.
with pandemia we did cat home editions from from the homes of our different influencers.
So the part where you said about the artists on the product, so they draw on the products, right?
Yeah, we send them maybe the shoe, or there are editions with shoes, with clothes, with even with our store windows, and they have to like make art with that. It's not only a program that means to entertain our audience; it's also part of our brand purpose. We support artists, we support musicians and entrepreneurs, and this way
Nice.
we give them like a big window that they would never achieve on their own.
And is this like something that you like? Is this customization for your consumer, or is it something like? What is the purpose of doing that?
No, it's a piece of art that then is shown in the our store windows and in our social
Okay,
media
I see.
platforms.
Okay, interesting. It's interesting maybe to see this. There's a trend about, customizable products and engraving, certain things on products. So maybe, this is interesting maybe to see that as well.
Yeah, in fact, it's one of the trends that it's on our list for this year. Of course, personalization is very important. It's not only about product; it's also about personalization of the experience. It has to do with what I said before, like this Unichannel view, where you try to engage one to one and being able to have this conversation, like a personal conversation with every consumer. And that turns also into the trend of a personalizing product.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, so Unichannel, retailtainment, and what other interesting terms are you gonna tell us today?
No, this one I think is the one. It's no longer a trend. It's already something that it's growing really fast.
Uh-huh.
It's the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about this for obviously some time now. and it's growing really fast. And it opens new lines of business, with the NFTs also, like all this digital world that turns around metaverse and VR and augmented reality. It's like this whole new world that opens. It opens up like ways of buying product, but of engagement with the consumer as well. New experiences with younger audiences, especially, and it's a way of pushing towards this unichannel view where you are engaging with your consumer, whether it's in a virtual world, in your stores, in the digital world. So it's very interesting for us, and it's something that I think every brand will need to be in
Absolutely.
in 5 years, if not two.
Yes, absolutely. I see it also growing very fast in different markets. I'm not sure about Latam yet, but I see it coming to the Latin American market very soon.
Yes.
Um, cool. So, go ahead.
No, and with all the metaverse also, it's very related to gaming and to playful experiences. So I think that makes like the everything we do with you and the gaming concept bigger and more exciting.
Absolutely. It actually makes it, it gives it more of a community. Gaming currently, before the metaverse is about people playing a game, but now with the metaverse, it creates a whole environment for people to interact with each other while gaming. So it's kind of a community around the whole experience.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it's taken it to the next level. Very interesting. So that would take us to the drivers of growth that you're seeing in retail, in e-commerce, and specifically in fashion apparel or in your own, brand that you're managing. What do you say? Like, what what are the main drivers of growth that you're seeing?
Well, that goes a little bit around like I said before with the trends. Our vision is to be able to create this all channel brand, where we can expand our channels of distribution by unifying them and giving extra opportunities and extra points of contact with our consumer. So I think it's gonna go that way. Like we used to say, okay, let's be on omni-channel a few years ago, and now it's let's be this big channel. And I think the big driver of growth is gonna be there, and having this view of the consumer will also push us or push the industry into thinking of how to upgrade the lifetime value of the consumer, and also being able to always captivate new audiences. So I think it's gonna be like on that side of things, like centering in the consumer and trying to gain loyalty and gain recurrency of our current consumers, and also being able to achieve new audiences with the metaverse, with everything that we talked about, the live experience, the retailtainment. These things, they are not separately. I would never say this is a trend, this is a trend, this is a trend. This is a whole ecosystem that it's building up towards consumer and gaining loyalty with them.
I see. And speaking of those trends, do you think that there has been a shift, like in the consumer behavior over the generations? Like, if you tell somebody, from a specific demographic, maybe 50 years and above, to interact with, the retailtainment, stuff or the metaverse, maybe they're still a bit, I just want to buy. Or I just want to see the product. And then maybe with the new generations coming, do you see this kind of shift, the need to implement those new experiences, or is it something that you're proactively doing only?
There's always a part of the generation that adapts to the new things and takes them as a part of the everyday, you know,
Hmm.
and especially post-pandemia, where older people maybe didn't buy online or didn't even have an app in their cell phones. So I think a side of it is adaptation. So you have to be there whether your audience is older or not. You need to be there for your new consumer, but also your older consumer that maybe at the time think it's not for me, but it will be in some
Yeah.
years or maybe in some month. So I would never like subestimate the human capability of adaptation.
Hmm.
But obviously, the younger audiences request for these new trends with a lot of velocity. So you have to be there like today or yesterday, and then
Yeah.
the older audiences will like slowly adapt to that, or maybe relate with other ways with the brand. So that's why it's very important to keep your consumer in the center, because some of your consumer is gonna engage with the new things and others will engage with other ways of talking with them, you know. So you have to
Yep.
keep that in mind. You cannot have just one strategy, and if you don't like it, you're not my consumer.
Yeah, for sure. You have to provide different segments with different experiences.
Yeah.
I would totally agree to that. So, speaking of, all of what you mentioned, can we talk a little bit about? I know, you've been doing a lot of boundary pushing, especially in your e-commerce. So maybe we can talk a little bit about your experience in, gamification and customer loyalty, and how have you been doing that? What is your experience with that?
For me, it's been great. To be honest, I've been putting my eye into gamification for some years now. Didn't know quite how to make it happen. I am a very strong believer in gamification, or putting playful experiences into maybe not so playful things. I used to have
Hmm.
a teacher that taught me to talk Italian by playing, you know, and you see with
Nice.
the kids, they learn much better when it's a game and it's something, not something boring. And this translates also to our consumer, you know. Today is a game where you gain points and it's a loyalty program, but it may be a way of teaching the consumer a new technology. You know, it opens a lot of new options, especially now with the metaverse as well. You can reach to new consumers, build communities, and engage. I think the great challenge is to engage with your consumer better, you know, because today
Hmm.
they are in a lot of things and in nothing at the same time. And to
Yes.
catch their attention for even some seconds, it's already something difficult to do. So for me,
Hmm.
it has been great, a great journey. It
Hmm.
will be greater, I know. It's a lot of potential, and
Hmm.
our consumer, our community, has received it with really, really great comments, and we see a great engagement every time we do something. So
Nice. So, look, a lot of people who are running brands or, managing e-commerce websites are, always about optimizing the customer journey. And to them, that means less friction. Like, how can I make the journey as short as possible from the minute somebody lands on my website until they make a purchase? Where I saw you being more brave in that sense, and you were trying, tried different things, and you're still doing different things. So, what do you think about that? Is it really about cutting the journey as short as possible, or do you see that engaging customers? What do you think about this whole thing about friction?
like frictionless shopping is really important, and it's one of the other trends that we didn't talk about, and
Hmm.
especially our brick and mortar plays a big role there, because it gives you a face and a human side of the brand. But I think it's not one or the other. um, this is my personal opinion, may not be popular, but I'm not as much concerned for conversion rate, for example, or for quick checkouts. I'm more concerned about having different KPIs for each landing page you have. So there may be some landing pages or portals or points of contact with your consumer where you need conversion, and that's okay because obviously your means is to sell. But there are some others that don't mind conversion. If I have
Hmm.
a landing page for my cat editions art, I want the people to be there as much time as possible, not as less time
Yeah,
as possible. So
yeah,
the same is with the game. If we have a championship in the website and the time in the site goes up, for me it's better. I
yeah,
don't mind if
for sure.
if it has a better conversion or not. I mind that people are engaging with the brand and having new experiences. So in that sense, for me, the dashboard of KPIs is very different depending on your objective and on what you are measuring.
Absolutely. So different pages, different landing pages have different objectives, and based on that, everybody should have a set of KPIs to look at, and it's not always just conversion, 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 because you might have immediate conversion for a while, but then the other experiences you're missing out on, and other KPIs will go low, like time on site, bounce rate could go higher, and so on. Okay, well, this has been very helpful and insightful, I would say. I've learned a lot today. Thank you so much, Ceci, for this for your time and joining this episode. I appreciate it.
Thanks to you. It's always nice to talk to you, and it opens up new ideas and new things that we can explore together. So I'm glad to have been here.
Absolutely. Looking forward as well.